All sports, all plays. Yeah. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making the plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. Great high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays. Network. All sports, all plays. Network. We on top of our game. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays.
Man, good evening and welcome to the All Sports, All Plays Network. We are Real Talk. My name is Freddie. I'll be the host for the evening. And man, am I joined by one of the best analysts in on Facebook Live. I think we're better than ESPN, better than Fox Sports. I think we're better than all that. You know why, Chris? Because we real talk. We give the real talk.
We don't all give the real talk. People like you are delusional, but go on.
Well, to my right, we're joined by the one and only Chris Brown.
Yes,
At
sir.
the bottom, we're joined by right under me. We're joined by Coach Cam. And right next to him, we're joined by Mr. Will. What's going on, gentlemen? How you guys doing tonight?
Another day, man. Another day, just living.
Hey, there you go. Man, we got some heat to drop tonight, you guys. On one of these topics, it's Coach Cam versus Chris. Coach Cam been chopping by the bits all day long about it. He's been trying to get it out of Chris. What's the question? But he doesn't know yet. So
It's just one simple question. I just want to know one simple
We're going to
question.
tune in a little bit later into the show before we get to that, though. But before we go any further, Coach Cam, please let these folks know who our sponsors are.
Yo, sponsor Suzanne Paparazzi Jewelry. Hey, home of the $5 jewelry where you can get jewelry and accessories. Also on the website www.paparazzisaccessories/160920 is the code. Hey, we understand it's Christmas time coming around. Why not go ahead and get a nice jewelry and accessories for a loved one, daughter, anyone like that? So Suzanne Paparazzi.
Hey, Chris, you know, we've been over at All Sports All Plays, we've been giving away a lot of free stuff. You know, there's this T-shirt rumor I've been hearing, you know, for the last couple of shows I've been watching. What is that rumor I've been hearing, man?
Yeah, if you're out there watching it, make sure you comment. You know, like the page, share the page, like the video, share the video. And at the end of the month, we're going to tally it up, and we're going to choose our viewer of the month. And that viewer of the month gets a beautiful All Sports All Plays Network 2020 T-shirt. And if you don't want to comment, if you're just sitting there watching, we still support you. We still thank you. And if that's the case, if you still want a shirt, just message us on Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter. Tell us you want a shirt. The shirts are $25 plus shipping and handling. You'll get a nice ASAP T-shirt ASAP right to you.
Yeah, like Chris was just saying that, you know, you can find us on Facebook. You can find us on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram. I mean, hey, we're pretty much out there worldwide, huh?
We everywhere.
Well, since we got all that out the way, let's get into these hot topics today, man. First topic of the day: can the Kansas City Chiefs become the next dynasty in the NFL? Will, we'll start this one off with you, my buddy.
I tell you what, whenever they just threw the kind of money that they did at Pat Mahomes, you sure hope so, right? I mean, let me give you a list of people who have been paid $500 million. Patrick Mahomes. All right, there we are. We're at the end of the list. Whenever you look at the rest of the team, though, they are pretty locked up for quite some time. Tariq and McCole Hardman are both there till 2023. Whenever you look at Clyde Edwards-Helaire is there till 2025. Kelsey there till 2026. Mahomes till 32. And then even, everybody knows the offense is the key part of this team. They do have some key pieces on defense, though, that are locked up, though, both in Chris Jones and Frank Clark, who are both there till 2024. So, I mean, their key players are locked down. To make that kind of contract worth it, you better hope that a couple more championships are going to come out of it. I don't see why they can't be. I think they're easily the team to beat in the AFC, in the whole NFL. Yeah, you could argue that too. So ultimately, I think the Chiefs do have what it takes to become the next dynasty. I think they're under a great coach in Andy Reid, and I think they could only as they sit there and spend more time together, they're only going to get better. So.
Coach Cam?
Yes, absolutely. They can become the best dynasty. At first, I was thinking maybe, you get down the line and, Patrick Mahomes' money kicks in, some of those guys won't be able to get contracts. It's that simple. You can only pay, so many players. And but they draft so well. That's what's keeping them. That's what's going to keep them afloat. When, honestly, a player like Sammy Watkins heading out the door, you got Nicole Hartman, that's going to step up. You drafted a Clyde Edwards-Helaire, that's shooting that running back for the next at least 3-4 years. So they're set on offense, and their defense, is still, it's good enough. And that's all you need when you have Patrick Mahomes. You don't have to have a great defense. You just need good enough. They have that. They have elite coaching. Hey, I think they are the next dynasty in the NFL. I mean, I can't see, especially in the AFC, where it's only a handful of teams that can really, really stop them. And I think they're the most complete team out of all the bunch. So I think they can't be that next team.
All right, Chris?
Yeah, I definitely have to agree. Will hit on something important. All their key guys are locked up. If you want to start a dynasty, all your key guys, mind you, all their core guys are relatively young, and they're all signed for contract for multiple years. You look what we're doing right now, 8-1. I mean, Patrick Mahomes is playing. Everybody wants to talk about Russell Wilson, deservedly so. Josh Allen, deservedly so. But this guy has 25 touchdowns, 1 interception, and it's like people forgot he was even in the league, which is fine because at the end of the day, they're winning. And so I do believe they're going to be the next dynasty. Knock on wood, hopefully everything goes well. But the way they're playing right now under my guy, Andy Reid, always going to be my guy. They're playing great. We have elite coaching. We have your quarterback for the future, your weapons for the future. We have 2 defensive linemen signed for the future. Now, if they can keep Honey Badger, they're locked up. But they still, they got Snead on the outside who's not that bad. They got a decent team. They have a decent team on defense. As long as you can keep those guys locked up for the future, this team's going to continue to win.
All right. Adam Barber says the salary cap is going to be a big issue. Salary cap next year will drop because of COVID. They're going to have to pay a lot of players still. I mean, just pause that for a second. If you are a wide out or you're a running back or a skill player or whatever, and what the opportunity that's at hand with this team, would you guys, take a pay cut just to be able to be able to get the opportunity to win the championship? Because we know that it's not easy to win a Super Bowl in the NFL.
It depends on you. Oh, go ahead, Coach Cam. I go after you.
No. Go. I'll say, go ahead. You started. You go ahead.
It all depends on your situation. When you're young, you're going for the money, deservedly so. You don't know when that last contract can be. So when you're a young guy, usually, which I used to think about it why they do it, but now I understand. When you're that young, you don't get a lot of contracts in the NFL. They're not, guaranteed. So when you're young, you go get that bag immediately. Now, when you're a veteran, when you're a guy like Kelsey, when you're a guy like Tyrann Mathieu that's already established in the NFL, then I think, okay, you start to take pay cuts. But when you have these young guys, I'm not saying they're all going to leave, but I'm saying I wouldn't be surprised if, say, just throwing numbers, Kansas City offers them 5 a year, another team offers them 15, 16. They're probably going to take that 15, 16 a year. Personally, I would probably stay for a championship because there's ways to get money outside the NFL with endorsements and things like that. But I'm not mad at none of these guys for go getting that bag because it's their bag to get. They earned it. Go get it.
What I was gonna say about it is I'm not taking a pay cut for nobody, especially in the NFL where certain amount of money, all your money ain't guaranteed.
None of it.
So I'm getting every ounce. I'm sorry that I understand that I got a chance to win a championship, but I need to be paid what I'm worth. That's that simple. Now, if it was this NBA or something like that, oh yeah, I'd take a pay cut for a season and take the veteran minimum and try to win a championship. But in the NFL, when your body at risk like that, nah, I need all my money.
I need all mine.
I need all mine. That's why I'm not upset when players hold out at all, especially running backs and stuff. No, I need all mine.
Need all my chicken. But I'm Marshawn.
All of it.
All righty. Well, let's keep it moving, gentlemen. This next topic kind of hurts my feelings because, let's just be honest. This dude did not have the best season this year that we thought he would have. When the news dropped that he was coming back, the team that he's coming on, we was excited, but then we also had a question mark. Was there enough weapons there, or could he do it, or anything like that? So, what is Cam Newton's future next year, Chris?
I just want to say you were the guy that told me he's going back to beat the MVP of the league. That's what you said, Mr. Delusional. Now I knew what he was getting into. I knew he didn't have no weapons. I knew once they got rid of Mohamed Sanu, he signed his own bye. That's what he signed. But at the end of the day, I feel like I really hope teams don't hold him. They need to hold him accountable. But you gotta understand what he's working with. He's working with not a lot. He's working, this is his first time. His first time with this team. He's coming back off an injury, and he don't have no weapons. His offensive line is questionable. Now I understand he has to play better. I mean, 2 passing touchdowns, 7 interceptions. He's giving you on the ground. I mean, he has a lot of touchdowns on the ground. I think 8. He can be, that running quarterback. But without no weapons, he's not the quarterback like Aaron Rodgers, like Tom Brady, like Drew Brees that's still going to make it happen. That's just not his game. That's what we've seen so far. He needs a tight end. He needs some weapons around him. I mean, every quarterback needs weapons, but he's not the guy that's going to laser. So I think if he can play in a system close to Baltimore, where like that quarterback, has a chance to run, like honestly, I think he could work in a San Fran. I definitely think he can work in San Fran. San Fran's a running team. Now you add a running quarterback. He can make all the throws Jimmy G can make, and I don't see him underthrowing anybody. I think he could be a better deep thrower than Jimmy G. So if I'm him, maybe look at the 49ers. But outside of that, a lot of teams are going to be like, oh, he had a bad season. Oh, he's coming off an injury. Oh, I don't want him. And I hope they don't do that because he don't deserve it.
All right, Chris.
I just went.
No, I mean my Coach Cam. I'm sorry, had you guys mixed up.
No, you're good. Cam, I think Cam Newton's future in the NFL is going to be a backup. Unfortunately, I think his days as a starter is almost about done. Especially, unless he lands on a team where they're having quarterback issues and they're not settled on one. This year was his chance to really kind of showcase himself and show himself that he could still be a starter in this league. I understand he didn't have much. I know that team is stripped. I get it, but the turnovers, I can't blame that on lack of skill position that you're turning the ball over. Because some of those games that could have been won if you just protect the football, and not give it to the other team. I hate to see this for Cam, but I think this is his last year. We're going to see him as a premier starter in this league. I don't see another team giving him a chance to be that number one guy. He's going to be a backup, somewhere, a solid backup for a contender just in case, a one goes out. But unfortunately, I don't see Cam as a starter anymore.
Ooh, wait, man, I need to get a piece of paper out and write this down. Hot take for Coach Cam. All right, take us home.
I tell you what, I'm honestly not far behind Coach Cam. I'm really not. I don't want to say that he's going to be a backup as of right now, but whenever you look at it, currently he's 28th in the NFL in passing yards. And yes, to Chris's point, there is nobody there. I mean, there is no one, especially with Edelman and N'Keal Harry missing time. It's gotten the worst has gotten even worse. I mean, it's terrible out there whenever it comes to weapons. Jacoby Myers is probably the most reliable source, and that should tell you exactly what kind of people are out there in New England. But The thing is, he's tied for the 5th most in the NFL in interceptions, but he also has 66 less pass attempts than anybody else with 7 interceptions this year. And so that's a very significant drop-off. He has 131 pass attempts with 7 interceptions. The next closest is Ryan Fitzpatrick at 197. And so not only is not only is he turning over the ball, but he's doing it at an alarming rate. He's not taking a lot of pass attempts. The pass numbers aren't there whenever it is there. And he, like Chris said, he's got to play better. He only has 2 passing touchdowns. You know who came in and has played 1 game so far in the season and has more passing touchdowns? Joe Flacco went right up against him. Through 3 touchdowns against that defense. Right there in that 1 game, he has more passing touchdowns than Cam has in 7. So, at that point, it's hard to say that he should be starting. But I still think a team might take a chance on him. I like what Chris said about San Francisco, especially whenever we were talking about yesterday if they should get rid of Jimmy G or move on. I think a team will still take a chance on him. Now, does that mean he's a backup by week 8? Maybe he gets drafted. Maybe he gets taken by a team that drafts somebody behind him, lets him sit and kind of learn behind Cam, or maybe just try to compete with Cam. And then maybe Cam wins the job out of camp and then finds his way to the bench. I'm not too sure, but I think he'll still be a fringe starter in the NFL.
All right, let's get some of these comments read first. Nate the Great, he said, I knew Cam Newton was a bad choice for New England.
Whoa.
Somebody gonna need some humble pie on that one, Chris?
I mean, if he would have had one of his receivers was able to step up and kill Harry could actually play football, they didn't give it to Muhammad Sanu. If he had a tight end, that would be a great choice. I think, he was dealt a bad cards.
Adam said, I feel like when he played with a hurt shoulder in Carolina, that really messed up his shoulder. He can't.
I agree.
That's pride, man. Like when he said, like I understand every why he stayed in. Listen, when you got OGs, when you got dogs behind you that play through everything, you don't want to let them down. But that's just the sad thing, that athletes go against. They want to play through everything, and it ends up hurting them.
You could always see it in his throw mechanics that there's definitely some type of issue there.
Mm-hmm. All right, Madison Ewan said, what a future. I agree that he won't continue to be a starter with the way he's played this season.
Man, I know a couple teams that could use him right now. You put him on, I'll take him over Baker easily.
Take him over Jimmy G and Kirk Cousins.
Easily.
At least with the weapons, especially with the weapons.
Easily.
I see that possibly. I just don't see nobody just willing to give him the chance.
Yeah, that's going to be who's going to actually be willing to take the chance, because especially after he came back with COVID, he's been playing even worse than he was prior. And so,
did anybody hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh, did you hear what I just said?
No.
Okay, that's good. I'm not repeating it either.
Say a Bears? I swear, you made a Bears joke.
No, it wasn't Bears. It wasn't a Bears joke. I'm just going to let's just move on.
They're probably talking about his Eagles.
Oh, no. I talk great about my team. We're what, boy? Number 1 in the division? Come on now.
Did we not just go over?
Hold on, Will. Hold on.
What?
Did you just throw out there about the number 1 in the division? Oh, Chris, stop it. That division is over.
What that mean? Because everybody's hurt, we're over and we're sorry. I just don't understand when you talk about.
You can't brag about them being number 1.
Why can't I brag because my team is number 1 in our division? How you sound dumb.
Throw humble pie up there.
He needs some humble pie. Chris needs a humble pie.
Please, what am I eating humble pie for? I can't celebrate
because celebrating a team that is mediocre.
I'm celebrating a team that. What does that, Freddie? You sound so dumb because this team beat your team last year with injuries. So please tell me how we're mediocre. At the end of the day, we're number 1 in our division. So what if our division sucks? Number 1 is number 1. I don't care what you think, because you know how I feel about you, Mr. Delusional.
With 2 to 3 wins, you're number 1. You celebrate.
I'm number 1. At the end of the day, number 1 is number
3 wins. You celebrate.
Number 1 is number 1, bro. Like, what's up with you? You can win by 1.2 point. A victory is a victory. Listen, if you play sports, you know how hard it is to get a W. You know how hard it is to be number 1. When you're number 1, you're going to celebrate. And if you don't, people like you, I don't care what your opinion is.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is what you call delusional. A man that's celebrating a team that have 2 to 3 victories, who barely beat the Cowboys, and he's celebrating.
Why would not celebrate? Who doesn't celebrate beating number one? That's so. Can we move on? Because that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. My little cousin knows to celebrate when they're number one.
Please, can we go to the next?
I'm waiting on you.
All right. You know, we normally talk about top 10 players, top 10 quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers. How about we give some of these coaches some loves? The one that's drawing up the plays, the one that's being the leaders in the locker room. You got a question?
Can Will go first on this?
Yeah.
I want Will to go first on this.
So
I don't know how I feel about that.
So Will, who's your top 10 coaches?
Well, now I feel a little uneasy because I just got thrown like right onto the hot seat. So I was telling Freddie before you two joined the call that I almost did like a 1 through 32 just trying to go through this, man. I had the entire list of NFL coaches, and I got down to about 15, maybe 16 names, and then I was like, okay, now I need to really find it, really tune it down here. So number 10, I don't know how people are going to feel about this one, but I'm starting with Frank Reich of the Indianapolis Colts. I love the things that he has done with that defense. I think that defense is top 5 in the NFL. They're at least playing that way. They have been absolutely amazing. I think they've made do with the offense, especially behind Phillip Rivers. And then they have T.Y. Hilton. And other than that, with the wide receiver core, it's a little bit questionable. But they're still doing enough to get by. That team's looking really good. And defensively, they're looking outstanding. I'm going to go with Frank Reich as number 10. And do you want to? Are we just going 10 through 1? Or are we going to
go straight 10 through 1?
Right. Number 9, I'm going Doug McDermott of the Buffalo Bills. I think he's been there with a very long time. He's really built a culture out there in Buffalo. That team is known for having a lot of pieces that have stuck there for a very long time. That should let you know what kind of coach Doug McDermott is. He's keeping his players around. They're playing up to a decent level. I really like Doug McDermott out there in Buffalo. Number 8, I'm going with a little bit of youth. I'm going Kyle Shanahan of the San Francisco 49ers. I think what he has done with that team, especially with all the injury troubles and everything this season, and to still be able to hold close in that very tough division. Yes, they're 4th, but they are still holding pretty strong, especially missing their quarterback, all their running backs, the tight end, their best defensive player. I mean, the list goes on. Kyle Shanahan is still managing a somewhat competent 49ers team. They're still in games, so I really like Kyle Shanahan out there in San Fran. Number 7 might get a little weird, but John Harbaugh. I'm going to go with him. I have him a little bit lower than most. I think that it kind of shows his personnel. I think his personnel is amazing. It's not as much as the scheme. I think that Ravens defense, again, is a top 5 defense. That offense has been working really well, but yesterday we found out what I think of Lamar Jackson. So because of that, I'm going to kind of scoot Harbaugh back a little bit. Number 6, I'm going with the undefeated coach and Mike Tomlin. I know. See, yeah, look at that look. I knew I was going to get some.
Why are you going first? My friend set the tone.
Yeah, Mike Tomlin has gotten a lot of iffy, especially between players, other coaches in the league. There's been a lot of bad things said about Mike Tomlin. But here's my thing. If you look at last season, they had a great defense, but they were running with a 3rd-string quarterback who went by the name of Duck. That should let you know they still managed to go 8-8. The fact that they were running a offense with a 3rd-string quarterback and outside of Juju Smith-Schuster didn't have too great of a weapon, I think that really speaks to the system, at least the offensive system that Mike Tomlin's putting in with his offensive coordinator, and it really speaks to how well he's able to hold that team. He's been there for forever, and I think the guys really respect him out there no matter what's actually said about him. So I'm going to go with Coach Tomlin at 6. And 5 up is where it started to get really shaky for me. Number 5, I'm going Sean Payton. Sean Payton has been very good for a very long time. I mean, the Saints have been a contender every single year almost. Yeah, they only have 1 championship ring to show for it, but every single year they're in the playoffs. They're consistent. They're always one of the better offenses in the league. Their defense has been a little sus over the years, but their offense has always had enough to get it done. I'm going with Payton at 5. This is where it gets hot. 4, I have Sean McVay. I don't like Sean McVay in the top 3. I think that he's great for the game today. I think he has been absolutely phenomenal because I think Jared Goff is one of the worst quarterbacks in the NFL, and I think he has done a great job of molding him into doable. He has made Jared Goff into a somewhat competent NFL quarterback. I don't have any trust in him in any other system. I think if Jared Goff went anywhere else, he would be terrible. And I always call him Jared Goffle. And I think it would speak for it if he left the Rams. So because of McVay, he's such an amazing mind. If you ever listen to him in a press conference, he knows schemes, players, everything inside out like the back of his hand. I'm going with Sean McVay at number 4. Number 3 is Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll just got an extension celebrating with the Seattle Seahawks, another team that has been quite a contender for quite some time. Very much a player's coach. All the guys love him. I've never heard anything said bad about Pete Carroll. He comes in, all the players enjoy him. They respect him. Obviously, he's still getting a contract extension, even though he's an older mind, so he must be good enough to stay around today's game. So I'm going Pete Carroll at 3. Number 2, Bill Belichick. I'm not putting him at number 1. I'm not going to do it. This season, he has absolutely nobody around him, but we're talking about today's game. Today's game, there is one coach that is really standing out to me, and it really shows how much he knows about today's game by how much his team dominates, and I'm just going to skip right to it, and that's Andy Reid. I think Big Red out there has not only coached himself up to a great team, but he has so many predecessors throughout the league that have done very well in coaching himself, such as the Philadelphia coach, Doug Peterson. He has done absolutely amazing. He's not only a great coach in himself, but he's also a great mentor. He has shown so many coaches the way around the NFL. He is doing amazing things in Kansas City. We've just talked about if they can be the next dynasty. Obviously, we've talked about great coaching being a part of it. Yes, the player personnel, but Big Red Andy Reid, number 1 coach in the NFL today.
You know, I like your list, but he's kind of disrespectful to Mike Tomlin. I mean, that dude. I mean, yeah. Can I give my list first before you guys go, or do you guys want to go?
Now you go ahead.
Knock it out so we care how bad it is. Go ahead.
It's actually not bad.
Number 1, Adam Gase. No, okay.
You know what? Since we're talking about this season, Bill Belichick didn't make my top 10. Not this year, just because. We see how their season's going and what their record is. So you can't give it to Bill Belichick. Number 1, I have it to Mike Tomlin. This dude, reason why I have number 1, this dude never have a losing record. This dude is a leader amongst men. This dude has said, even though this team is undefeated, but guess what? This coach, they don't have the best offensive in football. He comes in there with the you do your job mindset. He come preach that to his team day in and day out. And then number 2, I have Andy Reid. Why? Because when you're Andy Reid, I understand the players still need to have stuff drawn up. But when you, like I say in basketball, when you have the stacked team around you, it makes it easier for you. It's not like when you don't have that many weapons. It's not like if he had only one wide receiver and a running back. No, he had weapons all around him. It's easier for him, Chris. Yes, I said it's much easier for him.
That's the dumbest thing I ever heard in my life. We've seen coaches on great teams that can't win 2 games. What are you talking about?
It's easier for him. Number 3, I have Pete Carroll. Yes, well, look what he's done in Seattle for the years that he's been there, won a Super Bowl. Him and Russell Westbrook, not Russell Wilson, have had a great relationship with the things that they was able to accomplish together is outstanding. But when you talking about a quarterback and a coach who accomplished more, you have to give to Sean Payton. He's right next on my list, number 4. Sean Payton is probably one of the best offensive-minded coach in the game, drawing up plays, and they get it done year in and year out. Number 5, I got to give it to John Harbaugh. That what he's done with that Raven team, instead of changing that team and to fit in, they changed that team for Lamar Jackson to operate, to move around, because they do know that they do not have the normal quarterback in the NFL. They have something special. And so what he's able to do is bring on the defensive end and on the offensive end. He's an elite coach in the NFL. And then number 6, I got to give it to Sean McVay. Like Will said, what he done with him and Jared Goff. I mean, that Rams team on the offensive end would not be good at all if it was not for Sean McVay. This dude, you know how good this dude is. Every time they would play, the coach had to call the play to the quarterback, telling him what to do, and then they do exactly what the coach said. You shake your head, Chris, but you know what's the truth.
I'm not shaking my head at nothing you saying, so don't give yourself the satisfaction.
And I hate to say what I'm about to say because it's gonna pump his head up. It's gonna pump his head up. Number 8, I gotta give it to Doug Peterson, man. What this dude is able to do with the Philadelphia Eagles, with all the injuries and all the adversity that they're going through, he's still able to get the guys to stay afloat, still keep things going. So you do have to give credit where credit is due. You just have to be honest. And number 10, can we give Bruce Arians some love? I mean, he do not have the easiest job in the NFL right now. You guys do realize that he has Tom Brady. It comes with expectations. He's never had expectations on him like you do now this year. The expectations is to win this year. That's the expectation when you get a Tom Brady. So he has to figure out how to get all these players together, how to get them playing together. And I think he's done an awesome job this year. Well, that's my number 9, right? Number 10, I gotta give it to Kyle Shanahan. Why he's so far on my list? Just because of the injuries. Like 9 or 10 guys that's hurt this year.
That don't make no
sense. But he's still able to keep things up afloat. I mean, he's number 10 this year.
That don't make no sense at all.
No. Wow. After you just talked about your number 9 and your number 10, you just said Bruce Arians should be number 9 because of the expectations. He doesn't have he has a pretty hard job right now in the league. They're healthy. They're arguably a top 5 offense and a top 5 defense, and they're not even the best team in their division. So that he gets to be number 9, and then Kyle Shanahan, who is in the toughest division in football, dealing with probably the most injuries upon any team, is going to be knocked down to number 10 because of injuries.
He's number 10 because
put him in his place, Will, because that don't make no sense.
He's number 10.
It just don't.
That's why they call you Mr. Delusional, Freddie.
Yeah.
What is that?
I be trying to roll with Freddie too, man. I be trying to help.
It don't make no sense.
Go ahead, man. You need to treat me better because I put Doug Peterson on my list, man. Come on.
He's not in my list. He cost us a couple games. Why would I put him on my list? He cost me a couple victories by bad play calling. I'm not going to put him on his list. I'm going to recognize who's been doing their thing this year. Now, I will say this. Shout out to Bill Belichick. He did not make my list because I was talking about this season and looking at – not saying he's a bad coach. Not saying he's a bad coach. He didn't make number 1 on my list. I meant to say, Coach Cam, fix your face. He didn't make number 1 on my list.
Okay.
Number 1 on my list. How what? I mean,
I don't see how nobody's top 10 today. Honestly,
what are you talking about?
What if we talking about this year, not years in the past?
Talking about today's game, and he's still
it don't even matter, Freddie.
2020.
I'm sorry, a lot of coaches would have 0 wins with this team right here. So, Freddie, we let you say your list. I didn't interrupt you. This is my list. Number 1, Big Red, my guy, Andy Reid. I think he deserves it. He's been playing, he's been great ever since he got to Kansas City. They've been consistently good. They got Patrick Mahomes, and the offense is out of this world, but it's not. They don't just throw the ball. They have a dominant passing game, yes, but their run game is spectacular. Clyde Edwards-Helaire is being utilized in the best way possible. Their defense is good. Like Will said, that coaching tree. Their offensive coordinator is probably going to be a head coach next year. Andy Reid, right now, to me, you can't tell me he's not the best coach in football. I mean, 8-1, he's doing his thing. Number 2, I have Bill Belichick. I understand. Freddie's talking about because all the injuries he has to go down. Let's not forget Bill Belichick dominated with teams that had no business being where they were. They had no business being where they were.
We talking about this year.
That's cool. But I'm talking about my list. So sit back. Even this year, they've been in some games that they shouldn't have. They've been competitive when they shouldn't have. I mean, you're talking about 6 defensive starters that opted out and they still have a very good defense. You're talking about an offense that somehow manages to put up points every now and then with nobody on their offense. I mean, at the end of the day, you put almost any other coach in that job and they have 0 wins and everybody's being traded away because they're saying they're tanking. That's bad. This roster is bad, and he's still making them. No team goes in and say, "Oh, we're going to blow out New England today." No, every team respect the fact that Bill Belichick is still the coach. So if other coaches in the league respect him being a coach, why wouldn't I respect him? That just don't make no sense. Number 3, how is that disrespectful when other coaches acknowledge?
Number 2.
Okay, Coach Cam, listen. When other coaches say they still have Bill Belichick, we still have to game plan regardless of what's going on.
Right.
Why would I not respect that? You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I
All
got
right, listen, so that's cool. Number 3, I have Mike Tomlin. 14 seasons, 0. I'm gonna keep my list short, 0, losing record seasons. Mike Tomlin, they say what they want. They say this, they say that. At the end of the day, he's a winner. At the end of the day, he's had some bad squads. You look at last year, third string quarterback, they still were competitive. This year, Freddie doesn't say they don't have the offense. I think their running game is suspect. You look at their receivers, they have playmakers. You look at their tight end, he had playmakers. I think their offense is very, very good, just inconsistent. But at the end of the day, 8-0 is 8-0, so I'm going to give them their credit. Number 4, I have Pete Carroll. You talking about, a team, if it wasn't for Russell Wilson, this team would struggle. I mean, Pete Carroll would still help them out, but what they're able to do, they stay together. They're dominating the NFL. They're winning games. They're always competing. That offense, whether they run the ball or pass the ball, they're going to put up points. The fourth quarter, they're going to win a game. Number 5, I have Sean Payton. You look at what they did this year. Mike Thomas out, Emmanuel Sanders out. They still were winning games. Their defense is still doing work, and their offense is still putting up points. 6, I have Harbaugh. Listen, when you have a new quarterback, like Freddie said, they changed up everything for him. It made him comfortable. It gave Lamar Jackson confidence. And not a lot of coaches will do that. A lot of coaches are stuck in their ways, which messes up young quarterbacks. A lot of coaches will say, this is my system. You learn it, and you run it the way I see fit. For John Harbaugh to change the offense around him, to give him confidence, I think that just speaks to his character. This team is always competitive. You look at years past when they had bad rosters, they were still going 8-8, 9-7. So shout out to him. Then I had Sean McDermott out Buffalo. Listen, this team is 7-2 right now. I don't think this team in general gets enough credit for how they've been putting on this year. I mean, their defense has been suspect, but their offense is going crazy. So just wait till their defense starts to lock in the second half of the year. They're going to be scared, and a lot of teams don't want to see them. Then I had Sean McVay. This Rams roster, to be honest, is not that good. Like, you take away Jared Goff, I think you put in any quarterback, they'll still be all right just because of his system. But you look at how they were when they went to the Super Bowl, look at their roster now. It's all gone. I mean, they don't have all the names that they have, and they're still competitive right now doing their thing. Number 9, I got to give it to Mike Vrabel, coach of the Tennessee Titans. I think this guy right here, he's a coach that players want to have. He's a coach that's going to instill confidence. He was a player, become a head coach. So you can trust on him. He can see things that people do. Like, if you're not in the game, you want to understand, but he understands things. He understands the game. And at the end of the day, when you have a quarterback, when you have a coach that you can rely on that understands the game, you can count on him. Then number 10, this is my number 10, right?
Yep.
Number 10, got to give it to Kyle Shanahan. Listen, regardless of the injuries, this team is better right now than what they should be. You put any other coach, you lose all those players on defense, you lose your pass rushers, your starting cornerback, you lose, quarterback, wide receivers, running back. Everybody's being hurt on this team, and they're still very, very competitive. Teams right now are not, not saying, 49ers easy W. No, team's still worried about this team. This team has a great offensive system. Their defense is always competitive. And right now, Kyle Shanahan is number 10. Freddie, why are you making that face? Like, who did I miss out?
Us 3 missed out on somebody so far.
I hope you're not going to talk about the Packers, coach. He not on this list.
Do not say that.
Coach Cam, go.
No. There you go, Adam. Matt LaFleur not on this. Since taking over for the Green Bay, he's 20-5 and took Green Bay to the NFC Championship. In his first year, I know he has Rodgers and Adams and Jones.
Yes.
Other than that, I forgot about Matt LaFleur.
How you forget about him? And that's supposed to be a team. See, this is the delusional stuff. Coach Cam, give you a list.
No, Chris, you're delusional because I had Shanahan.
I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. Because you had him on there for different reasons.
I didn't consider him because I would probably go 20-5 with Aaron Rodgers. I mean, that's just honest, They call me Coach Cam for a reason, so I know I'll go 20-5. Nah, but I'm gonna put it out here early. Sean McVay ain't on my list.
That's cool. I respect it.
He's not on. Sean McVay is not on my list. So happy.
I respect it.
I just don't see after the Spice was cool. I think he living off the first 2 years of what he's done, and everyone says that he's in Gears off is in the system.
Thank you.
There's no system, man. This is just West Coast offensive football. They had a heck of a running game with Todd Gurley and could play action off of that, and that's what made it look beautiful. When the run game went down, so did the offense, and this is what you getting. There ain't nothing special about no Sean McVay offense. It's just West Coast on a little bit of steroids. That's it. At number 10,
That makes me happy.
at number 10, I have Sean McDermott. I do respect what he's doing out there in Buffalo. He's been, this is about to be back-to-back years that he's going to make the playoffs most likely. And also, you got to think, they're going to be the first team that really, I think, that's going to take that division this year after, the Patriots, era is over. So, you got to respect Sean McDermott there. And, he got this team on the right track. At number 9, I have Mike Vrabel. What he did last year with the playoff push with the Titans. He got this team. They're a physical bunch up front in the trenches. I like what they do. Hard blue collar type of team. Just what to expect from them week in and week out. I'm gonna put him on this list. Ain't nobody say it. Number 8, John Gruden. And the reason why I say that is because everybody thought that this franchise was gonna be in shambles after the Khalil Mack trade. Nobody thought he would be able to, build this team and turn around this team this fast. Last year they were solid, they showed improvement. This year they're looking like they could be a playoff team, and they got some signature wins. They beat Kansas City, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know what I mean? So, John Gruden still showed that he could still coach in today's game, and and relate to these players, and they're doing a great job. He's doing a great job rebuilding that group. At 7, I got Kyle Shanahan. I know they depleted, but his offensive mind is second to none. Now this is somebody that's really creative, with his game plans, and no matter what, you still feel like they got a chance to win the game because of Kyle Shanahan. You know that he can possibly scheme up the best thing he can possibly with his players to make sure they perform the best they can and put them in the best position to win. At number 6, I got Pete Carroll. I would have put him higher on the list, but he's lower for me just because I feel like Russell Wilson has just bailed them out for the last possible 3 years. I think if you take Russell Wilson out of the equation, this is easily a 4-win team. And you're talking about them vying for possibly tanking for Trevor because I don't think they're a good football team overall. They got some skill position players that's good. DK Metcalf, Lockett, Carson when healthy, but no line. Defense is terrible, last in the league. I think they're a 4-win team without Russell Wilson. At 5, this is where I got Bill Belichick at right now. Not overall, I think he's one of the best ever. But right now, we're talking about right now. I got Bill Belichick at 5, just because I feel, Tom Brady. I think Tom Brady was a bigger piece. I've already said. I've always said that. I always felt like Tom Brady was the bigger piece, just because, like I said, it's a players' league. It's a players' league. Look, a great coach told me X's and O's don't beat Jimmys and Joes.
That's
Give me
facts.
the players. Give me
facts.
the players.
That's
You know what
facts.
I mean? And now you're seeing, with I know this roster depleted, but
Talking about-
I mean, right now, I can't put him up there as a top 3 a coach right now. At number 4, I have Sean Payton. I think Sean Payton is a very good coach, great offensive mind. I know he has Drew Brees, but it showed me a lot last year when Teddy stepped in and that ball just kept moving. It wasn't much of a drop off at all, if any. And they kept winning games. And year in and year out, we're talking about the Saints as one of the top teams. So in the NFC, so they're consistent. And they've been consistent for almost a decade plus now. So you got to give Sean Payton some love. At number 3, I have Mike Tomlin. Mike Tomlin's a great coach. I seen twice a year, with the Bengals. So I know what they bring, with the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I just think it was some of those years with AB when they had the 3 Bs that they could have pulled one off. You know what I mean? And that first round loss to Jacksonville actually the second round after the bye week, they earned the first round bye and they lost to Jacksonville with Blake Bortles. That was kind of a bad home.
I picked them to lose too.
I did too, but it was still a bad loss.
Yeah.
Right? You know what I mean? Like, you can't take that L, especially when Blake Bortles light you up for like 40 points. So, you know, that was a bad loss there. But overall, Mike Tomlin, Super Bowl champion, good coach. At number 2, I have John Harbaugh. I know I got him higher than, you know, most people. But I like John Harbaugh, man. And I know, you know, like I said, I'm an AFC North guy, so I may be a little bit biased. But, you know, he won. I mean, you know, he won with Joe Flacco, you know, and like I said, and to be able to, you know, be willing to say, look, I got a unique player. We're going to cater to him and cater to his skill set, shows his versatility as a coach to me, and not to try to put, you know, a square peg into a round hole like most quarterbacks, like they do most quarterbacks, you know. So I like what John Harbaugh did with Lamar Jackson to make him feeling very comfortable. At number 1, I have Andy Reid. Innovative, moving with the times, staying ahead of the times. We see, like, you know, just seeing plays and seeing, you know, formations we ain't seen before. You know, making football fun. You know, they look like they having fun out there on offense. It don't look like it's a chore for them to try to score. It's like, how we gonna score today? You know what I mean? So I got Andy Reid number 1. I don't really think it's close right now.
Neither do I. Neither do I.
You know, I think me personally, I think all this was respectful. So I mean, hey,
Time out. Can you stop saying respectful? Can you just stop saying everything's respectful or disrespectful? Just say all this were good.
I mean, I'm just saying respectful. To me, Bill Belichick's not top 10, not this year. I mean,
That's fine, but if you put any other coach on that team, they have 0 wins right now. That's all I'm saying.
But we don't celebrate losing teams, man. That's all I'm saying. Like if they put up
then why'd you put my team? If you just said we trash, why would you put my coach on there?
I'm talking about in the division. Y'all are number 1 in the division.
Oh, so now you give it to us. I'm done. I'm done. Move on. Please, can you please move on? Please move on. Please, no, Freddie. I don't want to talk about this.
Freddie, man.
Please, I'm saving you right now. Just move on.
Thursday.
I'm Freddie. I'm saving you.
Thursday. I want the segment of Freddie asking a question.
I'm saving you. Let's just move on. I'm saving you.
Man. You know, out of the rookie quarterbacks, who will have the most successful NFL career? Chris?
Listen. Both these quarterbacks. Well, I will say this. Right now, we talking about Justin Herbert. We're talking about, you know, Joey, throw it to him. You know, Tua's still gonna do his thing, but we talking about those 2 guys right now. You can't, you know, if you told me which one was better, I wouldn't know. You know, hold on, before we get to this, Freddie, that was a nasty take. Yes, it was. It was nasty. But, you know, both quarterbacks are good. Both quarterbacks are doing their thing. But honestly, you know, I got to pick Herbert. And I'm picking Herbert because let me tell you why. It has nothing to do with talent. I'm picking Herbert because I feel like that Bengals organization is not going to treat Joe Burrow how he should be treated. And I feel like he wouldn't leave. And that's my problem. I think he's a hometown guy. Every hometown guy wants to stay there for a little longer. You know, no foreshadowing. But listen, I think both quarterbacks are equally skilled. I think Joey, throw it to him. I'm gonna be honest. I thought he was a 1-year wonder. I didn't think he was good. I just would have picked Tua over him. But what I'm seeing right now is pure dominance. But like I said, I don't think the Bengals organization is going to treat him right. You look what happened with Carson Palmer. They never put a great team around him. You look at Andy Dalton. I mean, it was some pieces that they could have made and did. They didn't do it. I feel like Justin Herbert is going to have a better career. Not because of skill, but because of organizations they were drafted to. I think they're both skilled.
Hold on, Coach Cam. I see you ready. Okay, I want you to take on both of them if Will decide to be disrespectful too.
How am I being disrespectful?
Hey, I just want Coach Cam to blast you. Will, take us. Go on, carry on.
Coach Kim's not gonna have to blast me. I'm going with Joe Burrow. I think Chris makes some great points. I love the way Justin Herbert's been playing, and whenever you looked at it, I think to me these were undoubtedly 1 and 2 in the draft class coming out of college. I wasn't particularly high on Tua. I thought he was probably the third of the three. But whenever I'm looking at it, you talk about, the Bengals organization not putting anybody around certain quarterbacks, and yes, that's true. But whenever you're looking at what Joe Burrow's doing with what he has around him, is really kind of standing out to me. Because yeah, Herbert may not have the greatest run game. He had Austin Eckler as the lead back, and he got hurt, so now he's kind of working with a running back by committee situation. But he does have Keenan Allen. He does have Mike Williams. He does have Hunter Henry. He does have some pretty solid pieces around him, at least whenever they can, especially in Hunter Henry's case, when he can stay on the field. But Joe Burrow has maybe one of the worst offensive lines in the NFL. Oh, okay. I mean, this is you might as well just put up scarecrows out there and let defensive lines run right through them. I mean, it is absolutely terrible to see the kind of blocking that Joe Burrow gets. And Joe Burrow is already putting up outstanding numbers, 300 plus almost every single game, still finding a way to throw a couple touchdowns. He's been relatively efficient. And I mean, he's got an older, past his prime AJ Green. He's still doing his thing out there. But then he's got T. Higgins, who's trying to get his feet wet in the NFL. I mean, he's got Tyler Boyd, too, who's been obviously a very good weapon for him. But whenever I look at the weapons and everything around him and the system, coaching staffs, everything like that, Joe Burrow, I feel like, is making less of more. Or more of less, I should say. My fault. So I got that all mixed up. But Joe Burrow is just doing absolutely phenomenal. I also had a little bit of speculations that he might be a one-hit wonder, but he's come to the NFL and he showed that just may not be the case. To see the way that he's performing this so far in this rookie year, especially with that offensive line in front of him, I have to think that Joe Burrow eventually will have the better NFL career over her.
Coach Cam, we all know that you're a Bengals fan.
Yes.
We all here know where you're going with this.
Yes.
So go ahead and educate Chris on why Joe Burrow is going to have the better career.
Nah, man. Obviously, I'm picking Joseph Lee Burrow. And this is why. When we talk about organizations, right, we talk about building around them. Honestly, with Carson, we built around Carson. The knee injury, what Pittsburgh did to him, that filthy, dirty play, set us back. Set us back some. And it kind of reminded me of Carson Wentz, how you come back and you not necessarily, you don't have all that confidence in the pocket that you got. It take you a few years. It took Carson a long time mentally to recover from the knee injury. And I think, I see that with Carson Wentz, and I think he's still a good quarterback. But we talk about Joe Burrow, and I think with Cincinnati, they're going to build around him. They build around quarterbacks with their rookie contracts. They really do. And if you think about Andy Dalton had everything. He had Mohamed Sanu, Marvin Jones, AJ Green, Tyler Eifert, Giovanni Bernard, Jeremy Hill, and a top 5 defense. And we still couldn't win a playoff game. Imagine if we stick Burrow in that position. That's what we built around Andy Dalton. And Andy Dalton just wasn't good enough. If we build anything close to that with Joe Burrow, we'll be in the AFC Championship game somewhere. That's how I feel about Joe Burrow. And I understand you talk about the organizations. The Chargers just as bad. The Spanos family is just as bad. They don't spend on money. They don't build around. They just have Phillip Rivers, who's a Hall of Fame, arguably Hall of Fame quarterback, to save them over the years. But they don't spend. They cheat. So I really feel like Joe Burrow is going to be the guy moving forward. And they're both going to be good. And we may see this in the road next 6-7 years, maybe an AFC Championship matchup. We don't know. But I just think Joe Burrow, no one has the most pressure to do everything like Joe Burrow. He's calling out protection as a rookie. And he hasn't even seen every NFL defense yet. And he's calling out protection. That's how that Ravens game got ugly, because they sent blitzes that he never saw before. But he calling all the protections. He calling all the audibles. He called everything at the line of scrimmage. He got them. Herbert's not doing that. He's not doing that. So give me Joe B.
All right, gentlemen. We got to keep it moving. To our viewers out there, on this upcoming topic is going to be Coach Amber's Chris. But we're not going to touch that yet. Y'all just stay tuned for that. And I have a feeling it's going to get heated up in here. Hey, Chris.
Yeah.
We have viewers on here, and I think they didn't listen to you at first. Let them know how they can win a free T-shirt.
Oh, no, they listening because I see them up there in the comments. Keep doing y'all thing. Keep commenting, liking the page, sharing the page, liking the video, sharing the video. We're going to tally it up at the end of the month. And whoever's on top is going to be the viewer of the month. You're going to get a free ASAP T-shirt. And if you want to buy a T-shirt, hit us up on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Search at $25 plus shipping and handling. You're going to get an ASAP T-shirt to your ASAP.
All right. Let's move into some NBA, gentlemen. You know, the NBA season, why not? The NBA season's coming next month. Things are going to get heated within the next week or two with the draft, with the free agency and everything. So, you know, we have a question about LeBron on here. I think this is trending from when Rob Parker was on the show on Sunday. I think this is trending from Chris, you know, because he's talking about a scoring. Is just LeBron James an underrated scorer? Me personally, I think it should be something about the clutch because I mean the dude gonna give you 27 to 30 points. But we'll start with Coach Cam. Coach Cam, is he an underrated scorer?
Yes. He's an underrated scorer because a lot of people say, you know, he's pass first. I said, no, he's not. He's not pass first. Like I hate when people say he's pass first. Like no one that shoots almost 18 shots, close to 20 shots a game is pass first. You know, that's close up there. Like he's near, honestly, like, you know, Michael Jordan, like average attempts. It's close. It's not that far off, surprisingly, per game. That's what's crazy. But anyway, but people say pass first because he averages a lot of assists, because he makes the right basketball play. Like he plays the game the right way. And that's why people say he's pass first. But you don't average 27 points a game. I say that all the time. You don't average 27 points a game and not be known as a scorer. You getting buckets. I mean, that's almost 30 points a game. So when I say, but he is an underrated scorer because everybody call him pass first. So that's how I say he's an underrated scorer. But with me personally seeing him, now I know I mean, anybody that gets you average, you know, 27 for their career, 26, 27 for their career is not underrated. I mean, it's you know, not an underrated scorer to me at all. But overall, he is an underrated scorer. They call him pass first.
Yeah, I agree. Chris?
Yeah, I'm tired of people calling LeBron pass first when this dude's getting 27 or 50% from the field. And, you know, just to touch on what Coach Cam said, it's not close when you look at shot attempts. Jordan in his prime shooting 24, 25, 27 shots a night. LeBron only shot over 20 shots 3 times in his career, still giving you 27 or 50%. So, I mean, when you're scoring, you know, that much on that great efficiency and you don't get your credit, it blows my mind. LeBron said back in 2009, 2010, if he really wanted to, he can lead the league in scoring every single night. And I don't think that's a far stretch at all. I mean, he's the point guard and the main scorer. But people, because he's so gifted as a passer, they say, oh, this dude's pass first. Oh, he's pass first. When he's still, like, he's giving you 28, but he's shooting so high, you know, he's shooting so efficient. It doesn't feel like he's giving you 28 because everybody else has to chuck up to get warm, to get their shots up. No, he's going to go do what he does best, get to the paint, give you a mid-range, give you a fadeaway, knock down a couple threes, knock down a couple free throws. You look up, 28, 8, 10. This dude is underrated because how great of a passer he made that face. That's what he averaged. That's what he's averaging. Not this year. But I'm saying that's what he's averaging. You look up in the playoffs, they say LeBron passed first. What is he giving you? 28, 8, and 10. At the end of the day, we're not going to get into this, Kendall, but everybody knows LeBron is the GOAT. But what I'm saying is, I'm tired of people saying I just did that to make you mad. But I can agree with you. Just because he knows how to pass the ball, just because he's a gifted passer, he's the main playmaker, doesn't mean he can't score. He'll drop you off. I mean, you saw what he did game 5 against Miami. If Danny Green hit that shot, they're going to talk about how dominant of a game LeBron had scoring-wise. But because he made the right basketball play, everybody, you know, because they lost, understandably, but they don't talk about how he gave you 43 on like 70% from the field, like 55% from the three-point line. They don't talk about it.
All right, Will, you go ahead and go.
No, I like what Coach Cam said about saying that people are saying that he's a pass first, because I mean that as you mentioned, it kind of comes down to basketball IQ. Like Chris said, well, Danny Green has that shot. I mean, at least he should. Whenever you're looking at him, all the defense kind of collides down onto LeBron, because you would think, wide open. Whenever it comes down to it, who do you want taking the shot? Yeah, I'd imagine LeBron. But whenever Danny Green's wide open on the wing, I mean, you're going to throw it over there to him. I mean, nobody's near him. I mean, it was a great basketball play, as mentioned, as Coach Cam said. Making the great play. It's not always about facilitating the offense through you, but it's really good to be able to throw it out to the wing, maybe throw it down inside to Davis, try to make plays. But I'm tired of hearing about how he's just a finisher. I've heard a lot of people say that he is just a finisher, and he's not. He's got a decent shot on him, as mentioned by Chris. He's got the fadeaway. He can give you the mid-range shots. I mean, he definitely is underrated whenever it comes to his scoring ability. Obviously, having 27, 28 points per game, definitely not underrated as a scorer. But I think people are looking at it wrong. I don't think he's not just a dunker. He's not just going to go up for an alley-oop. If you need that shot, he's got the shot. So, yeah, I could see where people are saying that LeBron is a little bit underrated whenever it comes to his scoring ability.
He's not a. I think he is underrated, as a scorer, because he don't get the credit that he deserves. But I will say this, on that play what you say about Danny Green, there comes a time where you just have to take it, and he should have took it. Because, I mean, he was hot. Nobody could stop him. Jimmy Butler was going back and forth. I understand you want to do the right play, but there comes a time
to go up on 4 people when you have a wide open shooter.
You have to have that clutch gene in you.
That's why you don't play basketball, Freddie. You don't have no IQ.
Many times where LeBron James is afraid of the moment, and that's why a lot of people like Coach would knock on him. They said that he will never be greater than Michael Jordan because he's afraid of the moment, and at times he run from the moment. And that was the time that he ran from the moment, Chris. I like LeBron.
I have a serious. So if you don't shoot the last game, that means you're not great, because that's what it sounds like everybody's saying. In order to be great, just because Michael Jordan shot the ball at the end of the game, that means you have to shoot the ball at the end of the game. That's what it sounded like. So because MJ did it, everybody has to do it to be considered great. Come on, no BS. Can we just move on? No, I don't want to hear it. Let's just move on.
A lot of times he run from it.
Let's just move on, please.
Let's
Freddie.
Oh yeah, we gotta move on because we'll stay on this all day.
There you go.
Thank you.
I like that Kindle comment. There we go.
Hey, I don't know. Let's get to the next one. All right, ladies and gentlemen, what you guys been waiting for all night? Coach Cam.
It's just a couple of questions that is going to ease my mind after these latest conversations.
You're not Coach Cam.
You're not Coach Cam. Let's keep it like no. Go back. I just want to. Let's do it like this. Coach Cam, my friend, my guy. How you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself, man?
Man, I can't complain that much. Listen, let me ask you a question. What state you from, my guy?
I'm from Ohio.
Ohio. What's the baseball team?
Reds.
Right. Okay. What's your football team?
Bengals.
Okay. And what's your college football team?
Bearcats.
And what's your basketball team?
Mavericks.
Okay. How you from Ohio and not a freaking LeBron James fan? How you don't support LeBron James? How you not a Cleveland Cavalier type of guy? I'm no disrespect, but I know you're older than me. So this team had a good team in the 80s and 90s. I know they went through a rough patch, but then you get the king, the guy from Akron. How you not LeBron's number? Did you get mad at him when he left, and so you became a Mavs fan just because he beat LeBron? That's why you're a Mavs fan?
Never rooted for the Cavs. Never rooted for the Cavs.
So how is LeBron not the GOAT? And you're from Ohio. I don't know anybody else from Ohio, but I know if I ask them, LeBron is the GOAT. They support this man. They encourage this man. Mm-hmm. You talk about this man like you from San Antonio.
He ain't the GOAT.
Oh my God, he's from
Ohio. I'm from Ohio.
And how you not a Cavs fan when LeBron was
Cincinnati, Ohio?
What that
I don't care about Cleveland.
But that's the state basketball team.
I get it, but I don't care. I don't care. I grew up. My mom and dad were Michael Jordan fans, so I grew up We had cable, so they was on WGN all the time. So I was able to watch Chicago Bulls basketball. I grew up on Michael Jordan. That's what I grew up on.
And then when LeBron came in the league at 18 from Ohio, drafted by the Cleveland Cavaliers, you can't say, "Oh my God, I gotta rock with him." You can't say that.
No, and this is why. And the reason why I can't rock with him, and you know what? It's sad. I'm in here, and probably for a lot of people, it's the media. The media at the time drove me nuts about LeBron James. And the reason why is, we are witnesses. King, what am I witnessing? This is an 18-year-old kid stepping the foot into the NBA. What am I witnessing? What am I witnessing? Let him prove himself. Let him earn King. Let him earn the name King.
Did he do it though?
Yes, he did.
So
he earned it. But however, he ain't the GOAT. He still ain't the GOAT.
You just
and the Cavaliers are trash, and they'll always be trash.
Oh man, I just. He probably was his neighbor, man. They probably played.
Nah, we don't rock. I'm from Cincinnati. We don't rock with Cleveland like that.
They probably play AAU together, yo. And just like,
they played a pickup game on Blacktop. Didn't even know.
They both from Ohio, and he can't rock with him. I just, you know.
And you know what? And I'm better with giving him his credit than I am over the year. I was like,
I feel like
my friends call me Cam Bayless.
Yeah, because you started to sound like, and that's why I had to talk about this. You really started to sound like Cam Bayless when you're talking about LeBron, the king, the GOAT. And it's just like, I understand he's not the GOAT, but you talk about this man like you really from Dallas, San Antonio, you from the Bay.
I say he's the second best player of all time. That's not enough. That's
not enough.
See, that's what make me mad too.
Nah, I'm joking. No, that is enough. That is enough. But some of the things you said, it was just like, it's no way this dude, they both from the same state, and but he don't. Oh Lord, it just I got a migraine now. Let's just move on. I just wanted to know why he doesn't root for the guy that they're from the same state.
Nope.
His team.
But look, I don't root for Ohio State football either. People look at me crazy. How are you not a Buckeye fan? I hate them. I root against them every game.
Oh my gosh, this is outrageous.
Every game.
I can't rock with you for being a Bearcats fan. I went to college in the American, but everything else, yeah, I'm with you.
Okay, cool. Where you go?
South Florida.
Oh, we beat up on y'all. Oh,
yeah, we're bottom dwellers. Yeah.
I'm messing with you, man. But y'all had BJ Daniels back in the day. I used to be tough.
There you go.
Yeah, honestly, you're worse than Freddie. He's a New York Packer fan. You're a Cleveland you're Ohio Mavericks fan.
But it ain't like I got a team in Cincinnati though. But you see, I'm Cincinnati through everything.
If you would be a Bull, look, you grew up with the Bulls. If you'd have continued to be a Bulls fan, I could understand that. But why go to Dallas?
Okay, the reason why is because I watched the Bulls. Obviously, I love Michael Jordan. But I was a huge Jason Kidd fan when he came out of college.
I can respect that.
And he went to Dallas first. So I watched them both. So after Michael Jordan retired, I still, even though he left and went to Sun and stuff, I still followed Dallas.
All right, I can respect that. You know, my questions have been asked. I realized that we now have two guys that are from one state and love another team. I just personally just don't understand how that can happen in life. You know, I'm tired of seeing Cowboys fans in Philadelphia. Like, it makes no sense. I'm tired of seeing, you know, Philadelphia fans in Dallas come to Philly. We'll love you. Don't stay there. If they don't like you, they lying to you. You know, Freddie, you making that face. Picture this. Why are people in Philly Dallas fans? Like,
I'm not questioning that.
What's you questioning? The fact that you're a New York Packers fan?
Who's the second person on this show like that?
You're in New York. Listen, you live in Texas, but you like the Giants and the Packers and the Lakers.
I was born in California, so that's why I'm a huge Lakers fan.
The Packers and the Giants.
I'm not a Packers fan. I'm an Aaron Rodgers fan because that's the baddest man on the planet.
Let's move on because it's not Chris versus Freddie because that would get bad for the network.
But you gotta give me credit. I'm Cincinnati through and through if we got a team.
Okay, I still can't respect you, but you my guy.
All right, let's keep it moving, you guys.
All right.
What are your thoughts on the new draft reports coming out for the NBA? We'll start with Chris on this one.
Listen, I've been hearing reports that LaMelo may fall. I've been hearing reports that he might go to Chicago. And personally, I mean, you have Kobe White already and Zach LaVine. I don't know how I like about that. Like, I feel like Kobe White's ready to start. I don't think you need 3 guards that, I'm going to be honest, they can play defense, but defense isn't their strong suit. I don't know how I feel about that. I've been hearing that Charlotte might come up and take him. Also, I've been hearing Charlotte getting Wiseman, and they need a center. I mean, I like PJ Washington. I like Miles Bridges. You know, I like Graham. I like Monk. You know, Ted, Pete, whatever his name is, Rozier. I don't know why they gave him the money. He didn't deserve it. But at the end of the day, they're a bad team. It is what it is. But, you know, I've been hearing LaMelo doing this and LaMelo doing that. LaMelo, if it's not Anthony Edwards, it should be LaMelo. And if James Wiseman, I keep hearing more reports, he's going number 1. It doesn't make any sense at all. It doesn't make any sense at all. And I'm tired of these reports because Minnesota is they do this. They're the worst organization in sports. And then the last thing I've been hearing is that Anthony Davis is on the trade block. Let's move on. Who's next?
Who? It better not be. Y'all will see a grown man cry on TV. Oh, no. I'll go to Cam.
Oh, man. You know, what I said, you know, Minnesota will find a way to mess this up if they don't trade it. I repeatedly said this on the show, and they proven me right. Especially if the reports are true and they really want to select it. It makes no sense, especially where today's game's going. You're going to have 2 7-footers in the paint. It just doesn't make any sense. You know, I'm interested. I'm also, you know, hearing also, you know, a sleeper in the draft, Tyrese Halliburton, you know, the point guard from Iowa State. I know a lot of teams, you know, like him. I think he's going to go a little bit higher than expected. But Chicago Bulls could look into getting LaMelo. They talk about they want to trade up to number 1 to get him. But the thing is, you know, there is a new GM in Chicago. He may look and say, you know what, Kobe White, I like you, but I don't like you. You may be on the block. Or they may look at Zach LaVine and unload him for some pieces and look to rebuild. They may look at that. I don't know if I would do it. But I'm just saying, you know, Zach LaVine will get you something in return for his picks. He'll get you a lot. So, you know, anytime I see a new GM come in, I instantly think rebuild, do it my way. And that could be an instance where, you know, they can look to kind of scrap that thing and look as LaMelo to be that centerpiece and build around him.
Coach Kim, I got a question real quick. Kobe White or LaMelo?
LaMelo.
LaMelo or Zach LaVine?
Oh, Zach LaVine probably.
Okay.
My crazy thing that I've heard of this draft, and I don't know if it's crazy. It might be crazy. It might not be crazy, but I heard that the Golden State Warriors might be willing to trade that pick to San Antonio for LaMarcus Aldridge.
Yeah.
Love it.
LaMarcus Aldridge, and then they get the 11th pick too.
I love it.
From San Antonio. That would be something because that gives them a decent 5. You know,
could we see Draymond Green going out though? Because I mean,
you don't need to get rid of Green for that. You don't need to get rid of Green for that. You San Antonio, LaMarcus probably gonna walk anyway. You get yourself the number 2 pick. You go ahead and get yourself some. I mean, they could possibly move up to get a Heisman. They can get a lot of people at number 2, and then you put Golden State at 11. There's still a lot of 3-and-D guys down there at the draft. Then you still got guards. You know, like my guy Cole Anthony. If you want a point guard. I think he's going to fall for some reason. I don't know.
He's going to fall to my Mavericks.
That's nasty. I had him to the Suns, but, you know, that'd still be good. I had him going to Phoenix at 10.
All right, Will, you want to get a part of this?
Yeah, I like what you said about LaMarcus Aldridge to Golden State because we just talked about it yesterday, how Golden State needs a big man to really round it out. We talked about Wiseman being the guy out there if he can get past 1 because obviously the collective is that Wiseman should not go 1 if Minnesota's there. So, I mean, if Wiseman's not there, why not go get LaMarcus Aldridge? It's a great defensive center. It really rounds out that team. That's the one piece they're really missing whenever it comes to their starting 5. The one thing that shocked me is that I didn't know about the reports about LaMelo falling. I thought the 3 were the main 3. I thought the first 3 were kind of locked down. I thought it was Wiseman, Ball, and Anthony Edwards. I thought that was kind of locked down that those 3 were probably going to be the first 3 picks. To hear that LaMelo might be falling out of that top 3 is kind of shocking for me.
All righty. Let's because we have 15 minutes, I'm gonna go around to some of the hottest topics we have left. What team should go after James Harden? Coach Cam?
What team should go after James? If it ain't the Sixers, don't no team really need to. I mean, really go after him like that, and try to scrap your whole team for him. No, I mean it's James Harden is a tough. I mean, he's a great player. Don't get me wrong, but it's a tough fit, man. You know what I mean? He's a tough fit. I think that D'Antoni's system was really good for him. I thought it was really good with the way he wants to play. And as far as you try to fit him into a system, maybe like coming off screens and stuff, I'm not sure. That's the way the game is going. A lot of movement, a lot of cutting, and things like that. And James Harden is a standard. You know what I mean? Once he passes it off, or he's gonna he's gonna dance on you, or once he dishes it off, he's gonna stand. But I just it'll be a hard adjustment, But if it has to be somewhere like the Sixers, it has to be somewhere like the Sixers. I think that's the only place that that would be a decent enough fit to where it'll work with him and Embiid and possibly Simmons if they found a way to pull that off without getting rid of him. But him and Embiid could work, if that happens. But even though I know Chris don't want to get rid of Ben Simmons, but that's the only place that I can really see it.
Well, goodbye, Chris. Goodbye, Simmons, and hello, Harden. All right, Chris.
The Sixers aren't doing that, so I don't know why you're saying that. Why would they give up like that? Only people that know nothing about basketball would give up a promising 24-year-old that's improving everything for a guy 31 hasn't won anything and is probably on his decline more than Ben Simmons is on his improvement. But at the end of the day, I'd take him, but I'm not getting rid of Simmons or Embiid. We have money. Go ahead, take Horford, Tobias. Go take all of our 5 picks this year. Go ahead, take Josh Richardson. Go ahead, take them all. If I can have those 3, yeah, for sure. But if
they might do that. But
if I have to get rid of Joel, no, because I heard you can run the pick and roll, which would be nasty with Ben Simmons and James Harden. But I still don't. I'm not doing that. But yeah, like Coach Cam said, no contender is really going ahead and making that move. I mean, you could say him and Giannis would be nice together, but look how much the Milwaukee would probably have to give up. Now, would you like to see it? Yes, but I feel like you have to give up more to get a James Harden than you have to get a Chris Paul, which I think would be a good fit for them as well. But one team that wants to take on a bad contract just to get a good player that can honestly make this work, that honestly would bring some excitement back to that arena, is the New York Knicks. The Knicks, I mean, they have everything the Rockets want. They have young players. They have draft picks. Go ahead. They can give you centers. They can give you forwards. They can give you everything you need, except for a point guard. That's what they don't have. That's what James Harden will bring. They can give you draft. They can give you everything. So if a team should go after James Harden at this point, if it's not the Sixers giving up everybody but Embiid and Simmons, it should be the Knicks. Bring some life back to that organization. You can make an 8th seed, and in the playoffs, anything can happen.
Man, my pick for James Harden should go to, and this, I hate to say this. I hate to say this. I've never said this as a Laker fan, but you're talking about in the East, man. You're talking about the Nets. They making moves. You're talking about Philadelphia. They getting better. At least the Boston Celtics was on this far coming up to be that team, but these other teams are passing them by. If he can find a way to team up with Jason Tatum on that Boston Celtics team with a Brad Stevens as your coach. Ooh, that'll put them right back in the mix. They have the draft.
No center. They don't have the center. They don't have a center. They're not going to win without a center.
They can get it. They can get a center in it. They can get it like a Dwight Howard or somebody in free agency.
No money, Freddie.
Hey, Danny Ainge. He will find a way to make it work, Chris. That's all I'm saying. They have the draft picks. They have young players that they can trade. If you can get a James Harden and team up with Jason Tatum, I think that'd be a nasty combination. All right, Will.
I'm gonna get my team hasn't been mentioned yet, and my goal is to just not get as bad of a reaction as Freddie did by saying the Celtics. So anybody watching doesn't know that I'm not exactly the most NBA fluent, but here is something crazy. We've talked about it a little bit so far today, and Minnesota needs to trade that number 1 pick. Minnesota needs to trade that number 1 pick. They have somebody such as D'Angelo Russell. They have somebody such as Jared Cooper. This could be a move. And then that sets up the Houston Rockets perfectly for somebody like James Wiseman. Now move James Harden over to Minnesota.
Bravo.
You got James Harden and you got Karl Anthony Towns. You got a situation in which James Wiseman is in Houston now with Russell Westbrook. I think this could be a very good working trade for both teams. Minnesota needs somebody to get up there and score the ball, someone who's not going to bring so much drama, such as a D'Angelo Russell. And then the Houston Rockets need that big man. I think ultimately Minnesota's kind of dumb to stay at number 1 if it's going to be Wiseman. If Wiseman's the guarantee, why not move him? Why not move that number 1 pick? Get some stuff in return from Houston, and then James Harden can find a new partnership with Karl Anthony Towns.
Hold before anything is said, Freddie, you should be embarrassed that Will just dropped that gem, and you just dropped that bum behind trade idea, knowing darn well they're not getting rid of Brown. No, they're not getting rid of Brown to go get a James Harden. Everybody knows that's not going to. Why wouldn't you? Because Jaylen Brown is not the problem why they losing.
If you add
James Harden is not going to help them without having a center.
A dude averaging 30 points a game, Chris, that can give you a triple.
James Harden,
Jason Tatum, you can get a center in free agency, Chris. You mean to tell me that team will not be legit? Oh, stop!
No, they will not. They're
not going to get it. Philadelphia.
Okay,
in Philadelphia.
You want a cookie or something? Let's move on.
It don't take much to be better than them.
Okay, Roger, your 2 hype minutes, and then when LeBron retired, go back into.
Hey, well, at least I can say we have 17. What can you say? Exactly. Like I was saying,
I could beat you 1-on-1 in basketball. Is what I could say.
Oh, please set up the time, place, and date, and I'll meet you. All right. Can you be considered the best player in basketball without winning a championship?
Can I go first, please? Thank you. Listen, I'm gonna be honest. For anybody that says no, let me tell you why people do this. You're talking about players. Can y'all hear me? Talking about players that have been considered the best in the league without a championship. And I'm just going to say one name, because after this one name is said, nobody should say anything after this, because they hold this man on every level as the best of everything in life. He can do no wrong. They said Michael Jordan was the best player in the league. Got drafted in 84, didn't win to what, 90, 91? Immediately they said he was the best player in the league. So do not tell me somebody cannot be considered the best player in the league. This man was getting swept in the first round.
That's why he was go.
That's why he go. And LeBron took his team to the finals with nobody around him, with no credit. But they say Jordan can be the best player in the league and get swept in the first round. So my point being is Jordan is held on every single high level. But the question was, can you be considered the best in the league without winning the championship? You definitely can, because at the end of the day, if you're doing your thing, but the team around you sucks, the coach you have sucks, nobody has the will and desire to win like you do. That's why Michael Jordan was considered the best, because you know what he brought to the table. That's why LeBron at times was considered the best without a ring, because you know what he brought to the table. KD, they wanted to say he was the best before he got a ring, because you know what he brought to the table. Players, yes, have been, they're trying to give to Giannis now. He hasn't won a championship. They will say you're the best player in the league, but you have to prove it. Everybody except for Giannis, to me, on some level, prove why they really can be considered the best. So I do believe people will call you the best without a ring. They did it to Jordan. Don't tell me it can't be done.
Ladies and gentlemen, I think we got baited in. That was funny, Chris. Hey, I liked how you did it. That was smooth. That was real smooth.
I was comes up with these show topics. No, okay.
I was not expecting that, to be honest with you. All right, Coach Cam. I think that. Hey, go ahead, man.
Well, I mean, I agree with Chris. I do believe you could be the best player. Without necessarily, winning the championship. Now I understand the shot that you took at Michael Jordan, never got swept in the first round. As we know, on The Last Dance, he was playing with guys who smoked cigarettes and stayed up all night, partied and drank and all that kind of stuff, So, and against 4 Hall of Famers, that's kind of tough. But, dropping 63 at the guard, Larry Bird calling, Jesus and sneakers. But anyway, in 86, anyway, dropping 63, but You can be. You can be. You know what I mean? Because I always thought that you know, even though he wasn't necessarily the best, but I really thought in his prime, Kevin Garnett was one of the best players in the NBA.
Mhm.
But Minnesota is trash. I've said that again. You know, you cost your future picks with an underhanded deal with Joe Smith. You was never able to build around Kevin Garnett at all. And this was a dude that'll give you 22, 12, 24 points, 12 rebounds, 5 assists. Like, and he's going to play defense. KG was a complete player that never got his due. But I thought he was always one of the best players in the NBA at the time. So, yeah, you can. You can because it's about what you bring to the table each and every night. And if you do that, you could be considered one of the best, especially in the NBA. It's more of an individualized team sport than any team sport we have.
All right, Will.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with both of them. I think that whenever you're talking about the best in the league, it comes down more to individual performance as opposed to what your team's doing around you. And because of that, you don't necessarily need a ring. If you're coming out here and your team's throwing up damn near goose eggs, scoring up, let's say, 90 points, just under 100 points in a game, but you're out here dropping 60. I mean, it kind of lets you know you're out here carrying your team. If you're out here just putting up a statistical showing, and I mean, it kind of speaks for itself. I always try to relate kind of basketball concepts back to baseball just because it's what I know best. And some people consider Barry Bonds the best player in baseball. He never won a ring. Some people now want to say Mike Trout was the best player in baseball history. He hasn't won a playoff game. I mean, it comes down to individual performance, and especially when you're talking about the best in the game. And I think, 100% you can be the best without one-on-one.
All right, you guys, we're pushing for time, so we're going to give everybody a minute each to answer this.
Yeah, we got to answer this one. I want to hear if this is the one. I hope it is. I need to hear Coach Cam answer this.
Which one? The top three?
Yes.
Yeah, it is. I'm going to give everybody a minute each to give their top three, to rank them, rank 1 to 3, rank Jason Tatum, Devin Booker, or Brandon Ingram. Coach Cam.
All right, I'm starting from the bottom up. Number 3, Brandon Ingram. Brandon Ingram, he's a good player, and the way he improved his game, being the primary scorer out there in New Orleans, especially, it was a mess. No Zion, Alvin Gentry. You could kind of tell they just wasn't really responding to him very well. But through it all, you seen the improvement in his game, even from the 3-point line, getting to the bucket, just getting physically stronger. Brandon Ingram at 3 for me. Number 2, Devin Booker. Devin Booker at 2. Yes, Devin Booker at 2. Devin Booker, hey, he's a stone cold killer. I'm not gonna knock him. I think it's close. It's no disrespect for me to Devin Booker at all. I know what he can do. I know the buckets he can give you. But the reason why Jason Tatum is my number 1 is for me is what he can do off the bounce, just a little bit more than what Devin Booker can do. And the silky smooth play of Jason Tatum, man, it kind of take me away. The footwork, like I said, I'm a coach, so I'm big on the small things, the footwork, the way he get his shots, and once he get going, man, it's a sight to see, especially, and I understand they're in different franchises, but Jason Tatum done played well on the big stage. He done had the opportunity to, and he showed up. I got Jason Tatum 1, but it's close between him and Devin Booker. But I got Jason Tatum just by here because of what he can do off the bounce.
All right, Will.
I'm going to start the same as Coach Cam. I'm going to put Brandon Ingram at my 3. I think, as mentioned by Coach, he does have quite a bit of his play is definitely improved going over to New Orleans, kind of taking more of a big key role whenever it comes to scoring and the offense. Definitely not in the same hands that he was in LA. And he's moved over to New Orleans. He's done very well over there, but it has been a small sample size. So I'm going to kind of push it off. I don't want to give the young man too much credit. And so I'm going to put him at 3, not trying to disrespect anything he's done. He's done very well. Going to number 2, I'm going to go Jason Tatum. I think Jason Tatum is amazing at what he does, but because of what number 1 does, the man Devin Booker, you want to talk about a Phoenix Sun team that had no business going to the bubble. I mean, absolutely no business. And this man said, hop on. He said, hop right on my back. I'm going to carry it. And they went undefeated in the bubble. For some reason, made things close. And this Phoenix Sun team looked amazing behind Devin Booker. I think he's an amazing leader. I think he's great whenever it comes to the bucket. He's a great guy to run your offense through. I really love the way Devin Booker's been playing and the way that he's made the Phoenix Suns at least a decent team. You know, he's definitely given them an opportunity in many games in which I don't know if they necessarily belong to be there. And so Devin Booker at 1 for me.
All right, Chris.
Now, there's another player that I wanted to replace when I gave y'all this list, but I didn't want to put him in here because I knew everybody would have said I'd be biased. So, so we talking about this list. I have Brandon Ingram at number 3, and it is no disrespect to Brandon Ingram. I've been on Brandon Ingram since he was in high school when they got to Duke and when he got drafted. And when they traded him, I said, you realize he is 15 times better than Kyle Kuzma. Like, I don't understand. He's a million times better than Kyle Kuzma. Just wait and see. And what did he do? In a better system with the ball in his hands more, he showed you why he's a better player than Kyle Kuzma. Everything improved. Free throw shooting, 3-point shooting, field goal percentage, his points, his rebounds. But the reason why I have him number 3 is because I know he had a slow start to his career. And I'm not taking that, against him. But those guys did it a little bit longer than he has. Those guys came in the gate swinging. Now, like I said, it's nothing against him because I knew sometimes you need another extra year or two to really get into your game. That's what he did. But for right now, he's number 3. I need to see more. And I know I'm going to see more next year, but he's number 3. And number 2, I have Jason Tatum. I think Jason Tatum's a dog. You talking about a guy that's a Philadelphia 76ers fan. Every time I see Jason Tatum, I say, oh, he going to give his word because I know he's a dog. And he showed that in the playoffs. He had scored 0 points in the first half and then dominated the second half. What that showed me is that he knows how to fight through adversity. What that showed me is he's not going to get down on himself and quit. What that showed me is this guy is going to give everything on the basketball court. This guy's a knockdown shooter. This guy, like Coach Cam says, silky smooth with the rock. He has some defense on him. His playmaking is improving. But number 1 for me is Devin Booker. I mean, you talking about a guy. If you put Devin Booker on the Celtics, he's doing the same thing Jason Tatum doing, and Jason Tatum is probably still getting his buckets over at with the Suns. But I feel like people, not you, Coach Cam, but people try to hold that against Devin Booker, like he's not giving teams 70 like he did the Celtics, like he's not giving teams buckets after buckets after buckets. This is a guy that doesn't have to really dribble too much to get his shot. You talking about, you're a coach. I'm a player, so I'm heavy on footwork. You're a coach, you love footwork. Devin Booker has that footwork. Devin Booker will jab step you a million times, bang, boom, step back, knockdown, have a guy falling. Devin Booker has the footwork. Devin Booker, to me, I think he's a better scorer. I think he's becoming a better playmaker. Jason Tatum is just more athletic. I think, like they said, they're right there. But if you ask me, I'm going Devin Booker. No disrespect, but, they both dogs. But I just want to see you put Booker on a team that's actually going to win something. People want to talk about him like how they talk about James Harden.
All right, I got to give my top 3. Mine's different from all 3 of you guys.
Oh God,
why wouldn't it be
bad?
My number 3, I have Devin Booker. You talk about scorer who can score anywhere on the court. He can score from the 3-point line, mid-range. The dude scores 70 points in a game. That's insane. Number 2, I have Jason Tatum. This dude, as a puppy, took on LeBron James. As a puppy, he was wet behind the ears, Similac on the breath, and he gave LeBron the work. We know what he's able to do on the offensive end. But why do I have Brandon Ingram number 1? He's the most versatile player out of the 3. You can play him at the 1, you can play him at the 2, and you can play him at the 3. He can score at will. He's like KD. He's an upcoming KD. Have you guys seen his size? Have you seen his game? He can get a shot off anywhere he wants to. And guess what? I was so disappointed that my Lakers traded him. But it was for a player for Anthony Davis. If it was not for Anthony Davis, I said you need to hold on to this kid. This kid is going to be special. And what's New Orleans, they need to realize that, yes, you have Zion, but guess what? Zion's not going to be your best player. Brandon Ingram is going to be the best player on the New Orleans Pelicans. He can play like this dude can play point, he can do it all. He's the better defender out of them. Brandon Ingram. And when we drafted him, I said, I hope we don't get Ben Simmons. We need to get the kid Brandon Ingram out of Duke. This dude can score at will no matter where he's at on the floor. Just watch. You will see him.
Can we turn this off yet? Are we good to go off air?
Nobody has.
I'm speechless. Man.
Nobody has ever anything to say to you.
See, ladies and gentlemen, this is how you do when you win the debate. You get them quiet.
You don't win this is ladies and gentlemen.
The nickname Mr.
This
Delusional.
is why he's Mr. Delusional.
To figure this out, and now I'm getting it.
Okay, thank you. I don't even want to rebuttal because I don't want to hurt his feelings. Like he said, we're short on time, so I'm gonna let him live today.
I don't want the non-NBA guy to come out here and show you up on your own show, Freddie. Don't let me do this, okay?
You already showed him up today. You already showed him up.
Anytime you're ready to try, you can try.
He already showed you up.
It's all you.
But folks, that's all we have for you today. This is the All Sports Real Talk. I'm your host, Freddie. I'm joined with Chris, Will, and Coach Cam. You guys see your last words?
Y'all should see why we call this man Mr. Delusional. It just gets worse. It's like at first I was just joking, but now he really embodied that nickname to the point where off camera he's even worse than he is on camera. So just imagine some of the things he says. But great show, guys. I just can't with Freddie no more, yo. He just.
I'm not everybody speechless tonight.
In a bad way.
All right, hey.
Luckily, there's a day off in between the next episode. I gotta take a minute.
Hey, hey, you guys check us out on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Check us all out. Like our page, follow our page, and see when our next show come out.
See you Thursday.
Yes, sir. We're out.
Peace.
All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making a plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics never the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your face.